Welcome to the Psychexp channel. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how you can insert a fully customizable serial position effect experiment into your Psychexp project. And then I will show you how you can customize it to make it your own. So let's get started by firstly logging in to psychexp.com. Once you have logged in, select Add New Project from the menu, enter a name for your project, and then click the Submit button. You will be returned to the dashboard where you will see the project you just created in the project list. Click on Open, and then on the next screen, click Edit Project. When you first create a project in Psychexp, a default block and a default question are inserted. I will show you how to customize these a little later. However, for the time being, let's insert our serial position effect experiment. Scroll down to the bottom of the page and click on Add Experiment. Select Serial Position Effect from the list of experiments and then click Submit. If you scroll down the page, you'll now see that a fully functional serial position effect experiment has been inserted. So now let's go about customizing the project to make it your own. Scroll up to the very top and let's firstly look at how to customize the default question that was inserted when we created the project. If you would like to change the question type, simply click on the question and select your desired type from the list. You can change your question text by clicking the Edit icon. You can also change various settings relating to the question by clicking on the Settings icon. If you would like to add more survey questions prior to your experiment being shown, then click on the Add Question button. Now let's look at the structure of the serial position effect experiment that was inserted under the default question. The serial position effect experiment is housed inside of a single block that is automatically named default block. You can change the name of the block to make it easier to distinguish simply by clicking the Edit icon. By clicking the block settings icon, we can customize various aspects of the entire serial position effect experiment. You're able to customize the background color, and the font size of the stimulus. You can also select whether or not to display a results page to the respondent at the end of the experiment. You can preview the style of the results page that the respondents will see by clicking on the results page example link. Inside the serial position effect experiment block, there is firstly a single text-only screen that explains the procedure of the experiment. This initial text screen is fully customizable, and you can also add extra text screens by clicking the Add Text Only Page button. In the serial position effect experiment, the respondents are asked to remember stimulus words that are shown on the screen one by one. The stimulus are selected randomly from the stimulus within the next section. You can edit or delete the current stimulus in the section and add extra stimulus by clicking the Add Stimulus button. If you scroll further down, you will find the flow of the serial position effect experiment. The flow comprises of flow blocks, subflow blocks, and trial groups. The block and subflow blocks are used to categorize the randomization of the trial groups. By clicking on the flow block or subflow block settings icon, you can turn on or turn off the randomization for that item. You can add as many blocks or subflow blocks as you wish to create your desired experiment. You can also add as many trial groups as you would like to each subflow block. Each trial group determines the combination of stimulus to be shown. For each trial group, you can also choose whether or not to add a distraction task that the respondent will be asked to complete in between the memorize stimulus step and the recall stimulus step. Let's take a look at the first trial group. This trial group comprises of 10 stimulus being shown one by one for a period of 3,000 milliseconds each. You can customize these settings by clicking on the settings icon for each trial group. In these settings, you can also customize the interstimulus interval, and also you can set whether the respondents will have a time limit to recall the stimulus and write their answers. Setting the answer time limit to 0 means that the respondents will have unlimited time to recall the stimulus shown and record their answers. If a time limit is set, a countdown bar is shown across the top of the screen, and when the time is up, the screen automatically changes to the next trial. In trial group 1, there is currently no distraction task set, so the respondent immediately sees the answer screen after all the stimulus have been displayed. In order to set a distraction task, simply click on the Add Distraction button and select the distraction from the list. There are 3 types of distraction task, and you can preview each one by clicking the distraction preview buttons. In distraction type 1, the respondent is shown a number which they are then asked to type into a text field within a certain space of time. The number they are shown increases by 1 digit every time. In distraction type 2, the respondent is shown a 6-digit number, and then they are asked to randomly add or subtract an amount from the number. Distraction task 3 is the same as distraction type 1, except the number of digits shown does not increase each time. Instead, you can decide the static number of digits shown each time. Trial Group 2 currently has a distraction type 1 inserted. You can click on the Settings button to customize how the distraction works. This distraction is currently set to show 3 numbers for 3000 milliseconds each. And then the respondent is given 7000 milliseconds to write in their answer. After all of the trials have been completed, the experiment ends and you can choose to add extra blocks with either more survey questions or other experiments within them. Any combination of survey questions and multiple experiments can be achieved simply by clicking the Add block or Add Experiment buttons. Once you are happy with the customization of your project, you can preview it by clicking the Preview button. You can view the preview as often as you want at any time during the building of the project. The screens shown in the preview are exactly the same as the respondents will see when they click on the live survey or experiment. When you are ready to distribute your project to your respondents, click on the QR code link to get the individual QR code or link for this project. Be aware that once you give the QR code or link to a respondent, and he or she completes the survey or experiment, you will no longer be able to edit any aspects of the project in the Edit Project screen. It is important that you make sure your project is exactly the way you require it by checking the project preview prior to distributing your project. Before distributing your survey or experiment, you will also need to set various project settings on the Project Settings page. Click on Project Settings in the menu to open the Settings page. The settings are divided into two categories: Basic and Advanced settings. The basic settings can be changed even after respondents have completed the survey or experiment. However, advanced settings can only be changed prior to any respondent's participation. The basic settings allow you to change items such as the registration page logo and the message displayed at the end of the survey. The advanced settings control whether a respondent can do the survey only once or multiple times. You can also select whether the respondent needs to register with an email address prior to starting the survey. If you select a closed access project, only respondents with a pre-registered email address can respond to the survey. You can pre-register the email addresses of your respondents in a closed access project by clicking on the Respondents tab in the menu. Once your project has been distributed and respondents have completed your survey or experiment, you can download the data at any time by clicking the Dataset tab in the menu. Prior to downloading the data, you will need to set the dataset column headings and save the changes. Each column heading must be unique and only alphanumeric characters can be used. If you have a serial position effect experiment in your project, you will be able to download both a summary dataset, a detailed dataset that shows a line-by-line report of each stimulus shown to the respondent, and in addition, you can also download a supplementary dataset that is ideal for graphing the data to highlight the experiment's effect. Well, that's all I have for you in this video. I hope you have enjoyed it and found it to be informative. Please check out all of our other tutorial videos on the Psychexp channel to learn about all of the experiments you can insert and customize in your Psychexp projects.